because I might get, oh god, it's brighter. Oh, okay. I might get cold. But I just encountered so I'm inspired to do this, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this conversation out. I just encountered this absolutely adorable young lady, just a little fucking angel. And a typical apex human. Every human under a certain age is apex. She still had a little bit of that wild apex human energy to her. And I was providing her family with something that they needed, and so she was the one that was sent out to be the go-getter. And so I just noticed the disheveled environment in which she was, and her hair was wiggly woggly doogly woogly, as little kids hair will be at night, probably before bed. And she's wearing her child clothing, which is they're savages. So they're not real savages, but they are savages. Okay. Anyway, but there was something just really adorable about that energy that reminded me of the last part of this discussion about conscious coupling. And this is something we cannot ignore. This is something that we must be aware of. And so this is for those of you who are interested in creating a world that works. We're not going to create opulence for everybody. We're not going to create luxury and lavish living for everybody. That's not our point. As geopolitical Christians, as apex humans, we are here to create a world that works. There does not need to be child slavery on our planet at all, ever. Anyone that engages with a culture, a nation, or anything like that that employs child slavery of all of its horrendous demonic forms, child abuse of all of its horrendous demonic forms, and perpetuation of poverty, even if it's a cultural imperative, that's an inferior culture. Fuck that culture. It can go extinct. We don't have to force that process. It'll do it on its own. So we don't have to go out there and get rid of those cultural relics. But we do, as apex humans, have an imperative in place where all we have to do is say, this is the thing about God that's so amazing, is that God isn't stupid. Right? I know that's a profound statement for a lot of believers, because they do think God is stupid. They think that God wants you to go to heaven and do all this stupid stuff. The thing is, God is this brilliant force that is constantly creating and constantly moving things forward. AI is a part of that. A lot of people think it's the devil. It's going to be used nefariously. Of course it is. But so was the iPhone. So was water at one point. So was electricity at one point. What the fuck are you going to do? Become a Luddite? Become a fucking troglodyte? Live in a goddamn cave somewhere? Come on, catch up with the rest of us. AI is here to stay. And it's probably going to be integrated into the physiological form of a human. I don't think that's the best way to go, but it's probably going to happen. Get over it, get used to it, and get with it. So this part of the discussion, we're going to go into the most important part of this whole conscious coupling. This is part 7. We're going to talk about ending childhood abuse and how poor mate selection leads to breeding crime and lawlessness into the species. Like I said, any apex human that financially engages with any culture or any system that perpetuates child slavery and things like that is in jeopardy, is jeopardizing their apex humanity. Now, the caveat to that is, if that system provides you with a necessary and essential aspect of your apex humanity, that if you were to not engage with it, that would jeopardize it. And I hate to say it, this fucking iPhone was made by child slaves. Let's be fucking honest, okay? I'm gonna own that shit. This is not about truth. This is about, being authentic. And once an superior alternative is provided, and when I mean superior, it means it's accessible and it is useful, then we will immediately go in that direction. And it's being developed, okay? They're working on it. So, but we can end and completely eradicate these things from the human story. We definitely can. And the weird thing is that, I'm using a fucking iPhone to kind of blast something that the iPhone was created by. Oh, I am against child labor, and then you're using a fucking iPhone, okay? The uranium, the lithium, all the other components, the putting together of it, everything, child labor, slavery. So these things are savage, satanic. Well, I'm just thinking they're satanic because satanic patterns are a little better than that, but it's demonic, So it's like drinking hydrochloric acid or bleach. It's a terrible thing. So we're gonna get there, guys, and I'm doing my best to contribute to the progress of the species. So anyway, this is video number 7. Let's close this thing out. Ending childhood abuse through intentional parenting. Many children are murdered or abused because of poor breeding practices. Okay, we talked about that in part number 6. This includes children who are unwanted and children who are born into households of mental instability. Okay, mental instability is rampant in the world. Some people call it my culture. This is just my culture. No, your culture is an inferior culture. Okay, beating the shit out of kids and then tearing a child's spirit down and then causing them to buy into systems of lack and scarcity and victimhood. That's child abuse. Okay, it's spiritual abuse, which is not recognized, but it is child abuse. And let's call it what it is. And I got to say, look, there was a period in time when I believed in the physical forcing of a child to do something that you think is right. That is wrong. It's hard to say that it's wrong because I don't really believe in right and wrong, but I do believe in an objective moral system. And if I am enforcing my will upon my child instead of cultivating what I think to be the best in my child, there's a difference. And so again, having kids of my own, I've learned and improved from that. And so instead of course, murdering these children before they're born through abortion, because it is murder, trust me, I assisted in thousands of them. We can do what we can to provide the parents resources necessary to support them so that they can bring this beautiful apex human into the world, and this apex human can go into a loving, caring, healthy home and be supported and bring a brilliant thing in the world. Imagine if Steve Jobs' mother had said, you know what, I can't provide for this baby, let me kill this baby. Okay? My mother was encouraged to end the pregnancy that resulted in me because I was apparently unhealthy. All right, I'm crazy. No, I'm brilliant and beautiful and all that. But, there are lots of ways that human life can be enhanced and accentuated. Okay? And even in instances of grape juice, we're on YouTube, so can't use certain words, but in the instance of grape juice or incest or things like that, there are ways to work that out. Okay? Look, let's be honest. If you know anything about first century Judea and Jesus, he's probably the result of grape juice. If you really know the history of that time period and the age that Mary was when she encountered Joseph, and Joseph was like, I'm not going to let you get stoned to death because of something that happened against your will, young lady. Let's get married. Christians don't know that because they don't fucking read their goddamn Bibles. I shouldn't say it's not a goddamn Bible. It's a God bless Bible. Okay. I want to change it. Let me say hi to some folks here. Naruto. Ooh, I love it. All right. Samuel, what's up? I think I remember you from before. Okay. My day is going well. It's actually nighttime for me now. All right. Yep. All right. Kansas, Freeman. Okay. Let's see here. Tommy Sotomayor. I love Tommy Sotomayor. Fucking love Tommy Sotomayor. Love him. He's a great inspiration. Love him. Great mind. And the only thing that messed his platform up was that he believed in the lies about his perfection. He's a brilliant mind, just a brilliant mind, a hilarious dude. I love him. I'm very inspired by him. All right. Okay. All right, anime fan. I appreciate it. I love it. The ultimate anime fan. I love it. Thank you. All right. A cat. That's a cool name. Please spirit deport all the drains in Alaska back to Russia. What is drains? Oh, Ukraine. Oh, God. All right. Well, I love Ukrainian women, and I'm not in Alaska. Bring them down here to the mainstream U.S. I think they're gorgeous. I would like to have a Ukrainian wife and a Russian mistress. I'm joking. I just think they're both beautiful. I think Slavic women are absolutely gorgeous. And Kansas Freeman says, can you help me understand the Trinity? Oh, wow. I can't help you understand that. I can explain it the best I can. And then I would just encourage you to take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because what I'm saying doesn't amount to a hill of beans if it doesn't align with your inner spirit. So thank you for that question. So I'll share with you. The Trinity is, for Apex Christianity, it's just 3 functions of the divine source. Christians call that God, the Jews call it Yahweh, the Muslims call it Allah, and the Hindus call it Atman, the Cometian ancient Egyptian people called it Atum. It's just the eternal source energy that manifests and creates reality. And so the Trinity for most Christians are three faces or three persons of God. The Bible doesn't, anywhere in the Bible does it say God is three persons. I mean, it does allude to it, but it never refers to it as a Trinity. Trinitarian ideology is like 5th, 6th, 7th century or something like that later on. Original Christians never believed in that. They understood the way that Jews do, the way that Muslims do, the way that all ancient people understood that the eternal source, Yahweh, the Most High, whatever you want to call it, is one indivisible power. It is one indivisible power. It is the power behind reality. And so it has three functions. One is, it is the substrate of reality, or God the Father. It is the electrical current or the electromagnetic force that allows reality to shape and mold and do all these things and exist. And that you call that Holy Spirit. And it manifests through the human as expression of self, or you can call that Jesus the Christ. Christians said that there was a physical man named Jesus, the Jewish rabbi, was Yeshua ben Yosef. They also said that the Holy Spirit is like this Holy Ghost floating around somewhere. Doesn't have any, I mean, I don't know why the fuck they would go there with it, unless they were just savage and didn't have an understanding of the structure of the universe. And then the Godfather, they've anthropomorphized that into a bearded man sitting on a robe somewhere in space. So that doesn't have any value to us as geopolitical Christians. We don't accept the idea of a Trinity. We understand that God, big quotes, has three functions, or three functions, okay? And that's all that it is. Consciousness is the substrate of reality. It creates the trees, it creates the thoughts, the ideas, the tech, the AI, the buildings, the bombs, the babies, everything. Everything comes from consciousness. And all that everything in reality is thought, it is light, which is consciousness, crystallized by thought. Look at the work of Walter Russell. And so when thought or consciousness becomes I'm saying it backwards. When light becomes crystallized by thought, meaning thinking about something, then it becomes something, whether it's an amoeba, whether it's a baby, whether it's a tree or sky, a building, a bomb, an idea, whatever. And then it becomes a physical thing after many, many cycles of thought. So I know that's a really deep dive, but that's how we understand the Trinity as geopolitical Christians, apex humans. Okay? Thank you for that question. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent. Okay. What is dark matter? I don't really know. I mean, I've studied a little tiny bit, but I'm not a researcher in that field, and I couldn't speak highly on it. So they say dark matter is like, this is just what they say, so I'm repeating a rumor. But they say dark matter is analogous to junk DNA in the sense that you could call dark matter the feminine aspect of the universe. It is the biggest, most unlimited aspect of reality. It is, most matter in the universe is dark matter. Okay, just like most of our DNA is quote unquote junk DNA. It's the part of the genome that's not coding for proteins, that's manifesting as a body. So, dark matters, that's what they believe about it. But I don't really fully buy into it, because, again, I don't fully understand that world. At least I haven't gone into it. I haven't delved into it. Okay. But thank you, man. That's a great question as well. All right. Bruno Feria says, que boa noite. Obrigado por vir. Você lá bem, amigo. Tá bem. Você tá bem, amigo. Obrigado, Bruno. Obrigado por vir. Okay? Obrigado. Boa noite. All right, Bruno. What's up? Simpson não. What's up, son? Now, eu não vou. I'm not going to put that out there. Sorry, I'm not going to speak my full Portuguese right now. Stephen oh, yeah, I remember you. Coble. I said Cobble in the back. Coble. All right. Praying for you, my brother. God bless. Thank you. I'm always very cautious to receive a person's prayers, because I appreciate the sentiment, because I know I trust this coming from a good place, or at least coming from a beneficial place. If it is, I receive all of it. However, I'm very cautious to receive the prayers of Christians, because often they are curses and they don't know it. So if you're praying for me from the perspective of a mainstream type of Christian, I would say only connect with the highest if you desire that for me, and I receive that. But I do respectfully and kindly reject any prayers from a mainstream Christian, because I understand that those are often curses, because they have a certain perspective about life and the universe that violates mine. And so I tend to reject the prayers of mainstream Christians. But I do appreciate the kind sentiment if it is coming from a genuine, kind place. Thank you. All right. All right. Adrian, this sounds like a mysticism with a Christian paint of coat. No, Christianity is actually mysticism with a superstitious coat of paint. So mysticism is just people attempting to delve into the substructure of the universe and applying kind of a mystical lens on it. Christianity, in mainstream Christianity, is just, you just add a layer of superstition on top of that mystical coat. And I reject both. I love mysticism. I think it's great. It's fun, delving into the mysteries of the universe. But most mainstream Christianity is based and steeped in superstition. So as geopolitical Christians, we reawaken real world results. Like Jesus said, by their fruits you shall know them. If the fruits of the person that is providing you with stuff is steeped in magical fairy tale land superstition, then it's trash. And that's 99.9999999% of all Christianity. That's why geopolitical Christianity started its return to humanity through William Blake, many of our prophets, all the way to Anton LaVey. And if you're a Christian, you see him as the greatest Satanist of all time. We just see him as one of the greatest minds of all time that used Satanism as a Trojan horse for the aspect of God's awareness that was removed, extricated from Christianity by the Roman Church. The Orthodox Christians don't need Satanism because they understand the balance of light and dark. The Zoroastrians don't need it because they understand the balance of masculine, feminine, light and dark. They understand the balance and the importance of that. Mainstream Western Christians from the Catholic lineage, which is what most Christians are, Protestants are all Catholic, they're all Catholics. You guys just need to go back to the Catholic Church and stop lying to yourselves. Just be Catholics again, and then join the Orthodox. We actually have it together, and then dissolve all of it into geopolitical Christianity. But we basically go back to the source code, which is the Bible, which is a pagan compilation. And we respect that because we understand the essence of it. We understand what Jesus was really talking about. And again, we have to honestly say we don't have the truth. We just don't. We don't have the truth. We're not going to purport that. But we will say that what we're presenting works for us, and that's all that we can say. It works for us. Now, is your Christianity working for you? If it works for you, then this isn't, and this is conflicting, then you don't want to be here. This is not gonna serve you. So yeah. Adrian says, it sounds, yeah, that was outrageous. Thank you for that comment. All right. Oh yeah, Kansas Freeman. I just get hung up as the commandment says, don't, and it might have gotten cut off. Don't it might have gotten cut off. Don't worship any gods but me. Yeah. And this is the thing. The commandments are mistranslated. They're misstated. They shouldn't be called commandments. They should refer to as 10 observations. 10 observations. So that's ultimately they are. Moses was saying, well, this is what God's people do. If you don't do this, you're not one of God's people. It's that simple. He wouldn't say you need to do it. Like the 42 confessions of Mayat, there are a lot of Afrocentric people that lie to you and say the 10 commandments were plagiarized from ancient black African Kemet. And it's a lie. Egypt was not black. There were no black people there ever. But let's get back on it. I've been there too many times. I've been there and I know better. So I'm just being honest. But the 42 confessions of Mayat and the 10 commandments are the same substructure in the sense that they say, this is what the chosen do. This is what the children of the Most High do. This is what exceptional humans do. These are observations. They're not commands. Okay. All right. We got a lot of it. Yep. Dark matter is just a name for something we don't understand. I like that, Adrian. Brilliant. Yeah, I like that. I'm down with that 100%. And also the what they call junk DNA is just our DNA that they haven't encapsulated yet. It's probably what's really mattering, for all I know. But Jesus says God, but people call him God. Yes, Kansas Freeman said Jesus prays to God, but people call him God. I know, isn't that crazy? And Jesus constantly told people, don't even call me good. They called him good master. He was like, don't call me good. There's none good but God. And he made it very clear. Connect with and I'm pointing up. I shouldn't do that. Pardon me. That's a Freudian slip. But he was saying connect, and I should do this really because it's all around us, it's all in us and everything. But he was saying connect with the power behind the reality in which we find ourselves. Thanks for all the loves, guys. All right. Yep. Yeah. But Jesus said to play to God. Yeah, Adrian said I think he's a bit confused. Okay, dark matters and antimatter forms CERN. Okay, let me see. Dark, everybody, this righteous reaper. Righteous reaper. That's cool. Dark matter is antimatter from CERN portals. Possibly. I know CERN is there. A lot of stuff they're doing at CERN they're not telling us about. All right, Michael Fleshman. Oh, that's a cool name, Fleshman. Michael Fleshman. Explain a Christian prayer curse. Example. Oh, very good. I have lots of videos on this, and I'll make it quick. Thanks for all the love, guys. A Christian prayer curse goes like this. I've had this happen to me many times, and now I reject those, and so my life has gotten a lot more powerful. So a Christian prayer curse goes like this. They'll say, and this is for Michael, they'll say something like, you know, brother, I'm going to pray that you come to the Lord. And what God has for you, what the source code, you know, the Yahweh, we're going to call it Yahweh, or we're going to call it the Most High. We're going to use the term Most High so that everybody can be on the same page. What the Most High has for you is to go toward the left-hand path, or to become a Wiccan or a pagan, because he has something there for you that's going to heal years of spiritual abuse you got in the fucking church. And so they, brother, I'm going to pray that you come to the Lord. That's a prayer curse. Because what they're doing is they're trying to inject a spiritual pattern and power in your life that's going to stop you from moving forward. Now, if you're susceptible to that, you're going to go, thank you for your prayers, brother. I'm going to go and talk to the Lord about this. Instead, what you should do is say, thank you, bitch. Don't say that. I'm joking. What you should do is go, okay, and then go home, spray some salt around yourself, do some psychodrama to cleanse your own. It's just neurolinguistic programming. What you're going to do is you're going to break yourself from their pattern of prayer cursing you. And then you're going to say, let me put some salt over myself and let me go and do a ritual of cleansing, sage myself, burn some incense. So I, remove that prayer from my energy field, and then do some Wiccan practices, do some witchcraft, do some whatever, right? That is because that's where the Most High wants you to go. That's where it wants you to go next. Because a lot of people don't honor this, is that most of religion is steeped in superstition and spiritual abuse. And that probably should be one of the 10 demonic, I should probably put that as the 10th demonic pattern, spiritual abuse, but it's part of savagery and superstition. So anyway, but superstition and spiritual abuse is one of the most destructive things to the human race. And it's about 6,000 years old. And it says, you're too small, you're tiny. Now come over here and give us your money, give us your power, give us your spirit so that you can worship our gods. They've been doing that since Mesopotamia. And Abraham broke that. Think about it. Abraham came from a family of idol worship, idol makers. The Christians don't know this, but the Muslims know this. Abraham came from a family, and the Jews know this. Abraham came from a family of idol makers. His whole family business was out of me. They were banking. They were fucking millionaires, right? And then he said, nope. No. We're telling people to pray to stone and wood, and I kicked it down and it did nothing for me. So guess what? I'm going to connect to the source code, the Most High God, Yahweh, and this is what I will serve. I will listen to that, and guess what? Yahweh is baked into my very being. And so Abraham helped to break this pattern of spiritual abuse and bring humanity back to its original way. That's why Abraham, whatever you want to call him, the father of nations, was so important as an allegory or as a real person, because he said, I'm not doing that anymore. Okay, he was one of many people that did that. In Hedwana, there's many people, women and men over the many years. These were Apex Humans, geopolitical Christians. And yes, Christianity is tens of thousands of years old. All right, so there's a very good question. Okay, Zaka. I should probably wear a black shirt so I can read these names. Yeah. Zaka Bonanza. Good God faith moves mountains and brightens soul journey. Truly. And it does no matter who you call God. So you can call God Boobaloo. If your faith in Boobaloo moves mountains for you, then it's real. Okay. All right. Thanks for laughing. All right. Keen perception. Keen clarity of perspective. Thank you. All right. Rin. Rin. Okay. I give it. Okay. Chip Blue. You don't know what the, this is, what the fuck you talking about? Well, I mean, I know what I'm talking about. Perhaps you don't. Meaning you don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. All right, Christian Lacey Avila, blessings, brother. Thank you for the blessings. Always receive blessings because every religion and culture receives blessings. Zaga 6 dark matter equals aether, fifth element. I like that too. Yeah, I'm down with that. The aether, and Nikola Tesla and many others understood that Jesus is Lord. Well, the name Jesus is Lord. Let's see what you got to say. Jesus is God. Only God could heal the sick and raise the dead. Okay. All right. Thank you. We have a whole video on that one. A prayer curse is an oxymoron or a paradox. Yes, it is linguistically, but it is not actually. So good point there. But it's an oxymoron linguistically. So on paper, it's an oxymoron, but you know, in actuality, when you see it in practice, it's real. Hey, brother, you know what? I'm going to pray that the Lord sends you a wife. This motherfucker's gay. He don't want a wife. Leave him alone. Stop praying for him. That's a curse. Let him go be happy, okay? All right. We are made in the image of God. The devil tempted us and fallen. This is Gummy Worm Gospel. Just as a heads up, guys, I'm reading Gummy Worm Gospel. Fallen, God, good, evil. Devil wants us to be our own gods. That's the lie that he told us. So I guess Jesus is the devil. Thank you for that. Read John 10, 34 and 35. This is the issue with mainstream Christians, that they don't read their own Bible, but they spew out things that their pastor told them because they go to church and God. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so we're not going to worry about that. All right, but that's Gummy Worm Gospel. All right. That's for the adults in the room. All right. Religion tends to complicate the simple things, and this is Zaya. Oh, I like Zaya. Then let me know if I said that right. Zaya. Religion tends to complicate the simple things, yes. Yet divinity and wisdom make simple what is complex. So beautiful. I love that statement. Yeah, that's a beautiful one. Thank you for that. Oh, sorry. Michael Fish of Fleshman says tens of thousands of years old. Not sure the maths. Okay, it's hundreds of thousands of years old. Christianity is the apex journey of all religions, of all paths, of all spiritualities, of all witch doctors, whatever you want to call it. Anytime a human said, I am one with the eternal source, they were Christian, by definition. A Christian is Krishna. Think of the word Krishna, like Krish, KRS with a dot underneath it, is a Proto-Indo-European sound that goes back to the Avestani culture in the Aryan people. Okay, we get that word from Sanskrit, Krish, like think of Krishna, Christ. They're all christening, Christ, Krishna. Okay, so Christian, it all comes from the same Proto-Indo-European root. In Hebraic culture and other things, they called it other things, Mashiach or whatever, Emmanuel, whatever. There were other terms, but it all refers to what I refer to as the apex. Humanity has all of these things. At first, they got to feed their bodies. Then they got to feed their spirits. And then they got to feed their hearts. And then they got to feed their things. And this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But at the very top is self-transcendence, which is a connection to the eternal all. And the ancient Cometians understood this, and they called it Atum. And the person that embodied Atum, the eternal source, was called the Pharaoh or the Pur'ah. Pharaoh is a terrible word. It's a Greek word, but the real word was Pur'ah, which meant the encapsulation of the apex being. And so that's what we are. We are Pur'ah. We are Christs. We are all of that. We are bodhisattvas. We are all of that. So whatever term you want to use, you use that. But I'm using the term Christianity because we use the scaffolding of Christianity as a basis for this awakening, this apex human awakening. So thank you for that. Yeah, tens of thousands, it's really hundreds of thousands of years old. Humans have been on this planet for 5 million years, some crazy shit like that. Anatomically modern humans, more or less. But our genetics in these bodies is only 250,000 years old. Look it up. All right. Pardon me. All right. Faith equipment. How's it going? It's going well, man. Thanks for the question. Okay. Only way to connect to a holy God is through a sacrifice that covers sins. This is Gummy Worm Gospel, guys, but I'm gonna read it. Jesus' death and burial and resurrection as covered us by faith in him. Are you sure about that? Jesus is Lord. Are you sure about that? Okay. What I find is that people that spout Gummy Worm Gospel is they put it out there because they want to get validation for it. And so discernment helps you to determine whether someone is sharing something because they really truly believe it, or if they're sharing something because they don't believe it, and they feel that sharing it is going to validate it. And I have to be careful of this in my own work, because I say, okay, am I sharing this from a place of I need to get them to believe it, so that if someone else believes it and then I believe it, or am I sharing this because it just fucking flows out of me and I fucking love it? And the latter is true more often than not. Okay. All right. So thank you for that comment. Even though I agree that that's true for many Christians, but I disagree with the premises of that. I think the premise is faulty. All right. Oh, you're a New Age Christian. Got it. Haha, cute. No, we're not a New Age. We're ancient. Again, I'm using the scaffolding of Christianity. It's like I'm Trojan horsing ApexHumanity through Christianity. That's all I'm doing. All right. Yeah. So I'm Trojan horsing something here. All right. Through baptism, Kansas Faith. Okay, sorry, Kansas Freeman says. Okay, Faith Equipment. I wonder why you would laugh about that. I don't know. This is probably something else. Okay, Christ glorified God and gospel. Good news. Yeah. Oh yeah. How do you know the gospel is good news, brother? You got to do, or sister, you got to do an etymological search on the word gospel. All right. Read the Bible with the internet to learn intention. Oh, with the intention to learn. Yeah. Read the Bible with the intention to learn. That's very important. Oh, I love the Star of David. Heaven Shalom. Wait. Oh, shit. Sabbath's over. Sorry. I don't know, Joshua, if you're Jewish or not. I mean, I see the flag. But yeah, Heaven Shalom. All right. Shalom. All right. Jesus, Lord, no respect, but this will lead people astray. Only Jesus saves. We most certainly cannot save ourselves. We sin and we die as a result. So that is true for gummy worm gospel gobblers, and I know no disrespect is taken. Thank you for that comment. The thing is, mainstream Christianity teaches us, and the Bible's been so poorly translated. I still love the King James, even though it's poorly translated. I shouldn't say poorly. It's mystically translated. So they translate the Bible mystically, and you have people like many Christians that agree with you, Jesus is Lord. There's a lot of people that agree with you that would say Jesus and sacrifice and blood and love and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, how does that apply to children that are starving, children in the uranium and the lithium mines? How does that apply to the children that made this fucking phone that I'm using right now? How does that, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, the question is your philosophy useful here and now? Can I take your philosophy, apply it to the world, and see results that lead to the joy that Jesus talked about in 15:11, the power and the peace and the pleasure that Isaiah 65 and Isaiah 43 and Jeremiah 3:33 said, 33:3 says. I mean, is this going to lead people to a life of the Psalms 23? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Is your gummy worm gospel of Jesus, magical Jesus in the sky, leading people to results? If it isn't, it is bunk, and we have to throw it where it belongs, in the spiritual trash can of the universe with all the other junk. Okay? Like, look, there was a period of time when people believed that by killing a child, that would please God. That was called child sacrifice. Okay, how many cultures are still doing that? Almost none. Okay, we eradicated that pattern from the human story for the most part. There's some still do it. Some weirdos, right? But we still have versions of that. We take a child's beautiful mind, we expose them to mainstream Christianity, and the child just decides, you know what, instead of bringing my best to the world, I'm just going to kill it because I'm going to get something later in heaven, and Jesus is going to fix it for me. No. Jesus is you. You are Jesus. John 10:34 and 35. Don't let a Christian read that, because they'll read it and they'll just look away immediately. I tried to present this to pastors when I was a Christian. I was at seminary, and I didn't graduate from seminary, so don't get it twisted. I'm not a Bible scholar. But, you know, I went to seminary, and I said, hey, why does it say this in Genesis 1:6? And why does this, or 6 verse 1? Why does it say this in John 10:34 and 35? Why does it say this in Psalms 82 verse 6? And they just ran. Literally, the pastors would scapegoat, run, lie, because they were too busy chasing pussy. Let's be honest. At seminary, that was a little orgy school. I mean, it wasn't an orgy school, but that's all they were doing. They were just chasing the young freshman college girls. And they were just trying to look like the most homiletic God guys. And they were full of shit. So that kind of stuff is the basis of a lot of gummy worm Christianity, and they can get away with it because they can tell you, pray to a sky phantom Jesus, and you don't get any results. And then you keep coming back, oh, your faith's not strong enough, brother. No, the system doesn't work. By their fruits you should know them. Jesus tried to make that clear. All right, faith equipment. At least there's some truth coming through. The written comments. I mean, you call it truth. I don't have truth here. I don't purport any truth at all. This is not truth. Okay, I'm just letting you know this is not truth. Apply it. See the results. Then by their fruits you shall know them. I'm just quoting Jesus, the one that you worship as God, the one that I call brother. Okay, he's not my God. I don't pray to Jesus. All right, I'm a Christian. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Adrian says that perspective was entirely focused on you and had nothing to do with God. Okay. Define mainstream Christianity. The mainstream Christianity is gummy worm gospel gobbling. So that's just, Jesus is Lord, Jesus died for your sins, sacrifice yourself, don't live a full life. And Jesus said, I came that you might live more abundantly. All right. And so people that don't live abundantly and don't live full lives and aren't living to their full purpose and joy, gummy worm Christians. I mean, by our definition, it's just a fact. Again, this is a fact as we understand it. We don't have truth. We're just saying what we observe. Probably over, okay, let's see. Oh yeah, Kansas, probably overused at weddings, Corinthians 13, 4-8, is that, what is that? I'll say, aha, cute. That's funny. All right, anyway, is that the definition of love, or should be Christianity, predates Catholicism? Yeah, it does, Adrian. All right. No, Christian. Okay, these are just people commenting with each other. So, what does it say? Michael, meaning of no Christian stems from the Greek word Christos. Okay, go back to your etymology, Proto-Indo-European roots. Understand that Greek is a Proto-Indo-European language, and a lot of the terms like mater, mother, all that stuff is just do etymology, explore etymology, Michael. Okay, annotated. Messiah is the Hebrew. Yeah, anointed one, the definition of Christ. Yeshua is that one, anointed one. Yeah, sure. Adrian, someone just said, I am the way, truth, and life. Oh, we do not have the truth. Yeah. I said that. God is the source of serenity and salvation, definitely. All right. Okay. If a man prayers are actually curses, God will ignore that prayer because he ignores the prayers of the wicked people. No, he lets those prayers come through. Okay. Can you get a shout out to my cousin? Cute little Zay. I like it. All right. This is his birthday. Okay. I like the N-word, but I only use it when I really feel like it. All right. Historical fact. Okay. It's a historical fact. Adrian, no, it's not a historical fact. There were no black people in Egypt ever. Black people were invented about 500 years ago. All right. Look it up. Think a little deeper. All right, brother, you are absolutely wrong and practice New Age coexistence crap. All right, well, that's fine. I mean, this isn't for you. Go somewhere else. Yes, indeed, so confused. All right. Kingdom of heaven. Okay. All right, we got to the end. I just waste a lot of time with that. Anyway, so it ended up going nowhere. I was hoping that there would be some value here. So, but anyway, ending childhood abuse is what we're really about here, and it will end. I mean, look, the gummy worm Christians in the comments section don't understand that geopolitical Christianity and the apex humans that are coming through, we're not stoppable. It's like the people who still use pencil and paper to write a note to someone. How can they compete with people that are sending texts? You can't. So I don't go to war with these people. I just share what's true for us. Again, like I said, we don't have truth. We just have a perspective that works for us. So I should probably not use the T word. But I share what works for us. And for those of us who are apex people and apex humans, geopolitical Christians, thanks for the love, that are in the comments, they'll hear that and they'll say, oh yeah, shit, I've always known this since I was like 1 year old. I've always known this to be true. The thing I love about Anton LaVey, and this is to drive out all the Christians, Anton LaVey, is that he said a Satanist is not converted. You cannot convert anybody to Satanism. Satanists are born. And I say the same thing about geopolitical Christianity and apex humanity. A Christian isn't a real, as we understand, the geopolitical Christian is not converted. I don't go out there and say, preach from the top. I don't get a soapbox and stand on it. Jesus is Lord, and this is how we see Jesus to be, and Jesus is the aspect of the inner self. No. We just say, well, this is what we understand, and if it clicks in you, something in you is going to go, oh shit, fuck, I've always known this. I've always known this, and no one's really articulated it in words, and now I am hearing it outside of my own head. This is true. And then they just walk away from it. So they walk away from the gummy worm gospel gobbling. And so I was going to call the mainstream religionists. And by the way, mainstream Christianity is the same thing as Darwinism and climate changeism and atheism, and it's all part of the same sort of gummy worm gospel gobbling. It's this pattern of like, oh, I need to outsource my ability to think to the herd or to the guru on the hill, and Jesus fully rejected that. And here we are, we have Christians parroting Jesus is Lord. The sacrifice of Jesus was what saves us. Christianity is 2,000 years old. Think a little deeper, right? All right. Unwanted children. So let's get back to the children thing, because this is actually what this video is about, the precious importance of children. Child abuse comes from systems like your mainstream Christianity. It comes from mainstream evolutionism, Darwinism, religionism, scientism, Christianityism, right? All of these belief systems that don't serve anybody, right? Are your children going out into the world and creating a world that works? Are they seeing a problem in the world, and instead of focusing on the problem, creating a solution for that? Are they the Nikola Teslas, the George Washington Carvers, the Madam C.J. Walkers, the Larry Pages, the Steve Jobs, the Elon Musks, dare I say it, the Donald Trumps of the world, right? Are the Oprah Winfreys of the world? And I know all these people are some of them are antithetical. Like Oprah Winfrey doesn't love Donald Trump and back and forth. Who gives a fuck? Are they going out there and producing solutions that are enhancing the experience of humans in the world? If they aren't, you've sold them a gummy worm gospel that is useless. And I'm not here to fight you, because I already see your end. I already see your eradication. And I don't have to go and force the process, because if I hold on to you when you're drowning, I will drown too. And so as a geopolitical Christian, as an apex human, as a child of the Most High God, as a chosen person, I can see where you're going. I can point it out so that people around you can see, wait, this guy's running to the edge of the cliff and there's like a 8,000 foot drop. He's not going to survive that. Talking this, Jesus is Lord, sacrifice of Jesus, blood of Christ bullshit, right? And I can just say, yeah, that's the motherfucker who's still using pencil and paper to... Let's see, okay, there's this hot girl, right? And she's got 2,000 suitors, right? All these men talking to her. Maybe I shouldn't use that one. Okay, so let's say there's this girl, right? And she's got 2 suitors, okay? And you've got a pencil and paper, and the other guy has got text messages, and he's too busy living a life that works. He's making his money. He's got a life of prosperity, purpose, and peace. He's confident in himself, and you're sitting there, do you love me? Writing on pencil and paper, do you like me? Scribbly diggly words, and then a little box, yes or no, check one. She may be charmed by it one time, but you think you're gonna get a relationship with her? If she's got a good functioning brain, which a lot of women do, actually all women do. We distinguish between women and females. Because we understand that a 2-year-old girl is a female. A 25-year-old female with a functioning brain and a good intellect and discernment is a woman. There are a lot of 25-year-old females that don't have that. We just call them adult females. But anyway, all women are intelligent. So this intelligent woman is not going to select you because you're giving her something that doesn't work. And so humans are breeding better. And that's what this video is about. Conscious coupling is better breeding. So even if you're doing the poor breeding thing where you're like, Jesus is Lord, gummy worm gospel gobbling, and all of that bullshit, then guess what? Your kids are still being born in our world. God gave us now. The source gave us now. The eternal life flow gave us today. He gave you guys yesterday. That's great. Yesterday's back there. And what happens when you're stuck in yesterday? What happens when you're stuck in yesterday? Life moves forward. Okay? I'm not going to explain it for those of you who need that. I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. So as geopolitical Christians, as apex humans, we don't fight or explain. Well, I'm explaining now. I'm apologizing. Definition, apology in its original definition. I'm giving an apology here for our basis. But we understand that. We understand that we are supreme. We have dominion over the earth. And that we have no one that we need to answer to except for the Most High. And because we do that, you can hate us all you want. You can judge us all you want. You can vilify us all. You can pray for us all you want. But we're going to grow through you. We're going to come out of your wombs. We're going to be in your nurseries. We're going to be in your kindergartens. And we're going to be in your seats of power. As a matter of fact, we already are. And there's nothing you can do about that. Why? Because God put us there. We don't have the truth. We have what works. So, I don't know what to tell you. I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. So, but we can end childhood abuse through conscious coupling. Okay? I've seen too many children murdered. I have. I've seen too many children abused. I have. Okay? And children being unwanted, born in households with mental instability, this must end. We want to create a world that works. We're not creating a better world, but a world that works. We have to look at solutions. Science is not going to give you that. Medicine's not going to give you that. Religion's not going to give you that. Jesus Lord is not going to give you that. The apex human is a functioning brain. They're connected to the source code from which everything comes. They're utilizing AI properly, and they're allowing themselves to integrate into the system. And we are moving forward with dominion. The only command, one of the few commands in the Bibles is, be fruitful and multiply. Subdue the earth with dominion. That is our call. That is our charge. And if, I'm using Christianity as a Trojan horse for that. It's a scaffolding. I make that very clear. I don't lie or hide about it. This is a scaffolding. We're using this as a Trojan horse to bring something supreme into this discussion. So we can create a world where there are no more unwanted children. And I'm going to tell you, you might have unwanted children. I hate to say that. They know that they're unwanted. Often unconsciously, they know it in their hearts. And children are the most beautiful thing that God has brought to the earth. That's why Jesus said it's worse. If you harm a child, there should be a load. It's better for them to put a lodestone around your neck and throw you in the middle of a lake than for you to harm a child. And, gummy worm gospel gobbling harms children. It is spiritual abuse at its core. You're selling a child a Santa Claus, a fairy tale, a superstitious lie that cuts them off from their own access to God, their own access to power. Imagine a little kid who wants to grow up and save the world from cancer. It's already been healed. It's already been solved. We've already cured cancer about 100 years ago. Look up Wilhelm Reich and many others. The Jurgen, the Dr. God, there's so many. Gerson, Dr. Gerson, Dr. Wilhelm Reich, both medical physicians who solved that. They were also Italian physicians that used sodium bicarbonate to destroy cancerous tumors. I go on and on. I've read the studies. It's all empirical. You can do your own research. I just dropped those names for those of you who care. But imagine a child that says, I want to end world hunger. I want to end cancer. And guess what? They were given a gummy worm. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is going to fix it. But I was born to fix it. Jesus is going to fix it. I was born to fix it. Jesus is going to fix it. Don't worry about that. Jesus will fix it. Okay, let me go and have a 9-to-5 job. Throw my calling in the trash. What about imagine if Forrest Galante, I don't know what his religious background, but he's one of my greatest fans. I mean, I'm one of his greatest fans. Forrest Galante was like, you know what? All these animals that are suffering, when I get to heaven, God's going to create a world where animals don't suffer anymore. So I'm just not going to go out there and try and rescue them and get the word out that animals should not, wild animals shouldn't be pets. Imagine how many children would be able to see these beautiful animals, how many conservation efforts wouldn't go forth, right? So we've got to end. We don't have to end. It's going to end on its own. But I'm saying we have to end it within ourselves. If you have gummy worm gospel floating in your brain, destroying your potential and power in the world, find a trash can, write it on the Jesus is Lord, Jesus sacrificed for my sins, I'm going to go to heaven after I die. Write all that shit on a piece of paper. Do a ritual, whatever religion, ritual, left-hand path, I don't care what you use, Hindu ritual, pagan ritual, burn it in the trash and become a real Christian. A Christian is a person that has powerful, beneficial impact on the world today. We're not talking this bullshit of Jesus is Lord. Throw that in the trash, okay? So these beautiful children that are unwanted in these families, they need to go to homes or get into communities where they are loved, cherished, desired, and reared with education and with an embrace. I mean, you're going to get rid of a lot of crime that way. A lot of children are being social gaslit with false I love you scams and reassurances. So a child knows they're not wanted. I'm child number 207. I'm joking. But let's say you're child number 1 or 2 and your mom didn't want you. She didn't fucking want you. You know that as a child. When you're growing in her belly, her thoughts of dislike for you and, oh, this is the end of my life. You're hearing all of that. Kids are not liars like adults. So the child hears, I fucking hate that you are destroying my life. 18 years life sentence. Fuck, I wish I had aborted you. They hear that. And don't let no bitch tell you differently, right? They're lying to you that I love my child. No, you're gaslighting them by saying you love them when they know you don't. And there's nothing wrong with not loving a child. Just let the child go to a place where they are loved, where they're cherished, where they're embraced. They're educated, meaning their best is educe. Look at the etymology of the word. Education is not school. Education is educing, bringing forth that which is the best, optimal in the child. So children that grow up in these homes where they're gaslit and told that I love you when they're fucking hated, are starting to, they learn to equate love with abuse, obsession, and self-destruction. And this causes them to grow up to be criminals, even if they are law-abiding or rule-abiding criminals. They go into a 9-to-5 job and then they drink themselves silly every weekend, or they take drugs, or they do things to destroy their bodies. Enlightened marriage and conscious coupling helps with conscious co-procreation. It ensures that every child is loved. Every child is desired, every child is protected and educated to be a optimal apex human and an asset to society. Every child under the age of 5 we accept as apex humans. They all belong to God. They are all part of our community. So we love them unconditionally. Okay, even if they're crashing out in the fucking store. We fucking love them, okay? And we see them as God's emissaries and ambassadors to the human story. So enlightened marriage will help to ensure that, meaning two people coming together, man and woman. I'm down with the gays. I get it. Y'all are great. But only time babies happen is when spermatozoa and ovum come together and a baby happens. Okay, that's how it happens. Until AI fixes that, it's not going to fix that. That's the way it's always going to be. Let's leave that alone. It is what it is. And there definitely are beautiful homes with non-traditional couples that can be beneficial to children. But again, there's a different process involved there, and I'm not going to get into that. But I do think that it's essential that children go to communities that will support them with the resources, the education, and the love that they really deserve. Every child deserves to be loved. And gummy worm gospel gobbling, mainstream science stuff, mainstream therapy stuff, all that stuff is trash. It's destroying children every single day. Oh, how many genders do? This is what modern therapy does. How many genders are there? 250 trillion? Okay, which one are you? That's fucking gummy worm gospel. It's the same thing as Jesus is Lord. What the fuck does that mean, bitch? All right, sorry, I'm ignoring everybody in the truth. Wisdom can be the life truth. Okay, let's say something. Corinthians, what's up? The great wealth and inner peace. Yep. Boom. Soul can be the mirror of solitude. Thank you, Saya. All right. So anyway, so poor mate selection and the abuse of children is one of the greatest evils to the human story. Poor mate selection is going to breed crime and lawlessness in society. And we can get rid of that in one generation, less than 25 years. Hell, we can do it in 5. Deficient cognitive wiring. So if you pick a spouse, let's say you're a guy and you go out there and pick a female because of her attractiveness. Oh, she's hot and I want to get with her and she seems to kind of like me, so let's make a baby together and then we're stuck. Bad idea, right? First of all, she's going to hate the baby because she doesn't respect you as a man. She wants somebody else better than you, but she got stuck with you, so it is what it is. You need to find a woman that respects and likes you and looks up to you and thinks you're the shit and you attracted to her, okay? If you can't find a woman that you're attracted to and you're a man, you need to up your game, become a better person, love yourself more, connect with God more, the real God, not the gummy worm God, and then you'll find a woman that you truly desire. So getting with people, poor mate selection often produces children with reduced mental capacity, and they lack the ability to observe cause and effect in their own behavior, making it difficult for them to understand harmonious action. Every child is an apex human under the age of 5. I don't care if they have Down syndrome. I don't care if they have advanced forms of congenital defect. I don't care what it is. I do not care. Every child under the age of 5 is an apex human. I do not care. Okay? I don't care what you guys want to say about master race bullshit. You can go back to Nazi land. Okay? Every child is supreme. Every child under the age of 5, so 4 and less, right? Doesn't matter what's going on with them. But poor mate selection exacerbates the problems associated with observing cause and effect. Every living thing understands cause and effect, even if there is a cognitive dissonance cognitive disability there. Even people with microcephaly or hydrocephaly who have some brain damage from that, they're able to look at the world and say, okay, when I touch hot, I burn. Don't do. When I eat this, it hurt. Don't do. Right? I mean, it's a very basic 1 + 1 = 2 logic, right? And we can get into math later. But Every child has a wonderful system going on. So if you are a child and you're born to gummy worm gospel gobblers, they're going to gaslight your ability to notice cause and effect, right? They're going to tell you, all right, Sally, I know the pastor's a fucking child diddling creep, but don't be rude to him in public because it embarrasses us and makes us look bad in front of all these other gummy worm gospel gobblers, right? So get near to that stupid fucking creep and just ignore your inner feeling. Child knows cause and effect. Okay, my body is telling me this person's not safe, and why am I getting close to them? Children love me. All right, I'll take it. I'm gonna shut up soon. Okay, I'm gonna make it quick. Where are we at? 5-5. Oh, nice. Okay, let's get to. I can probably go for another minute. So, poor mate selection often produces children with a reduced capacity. So, one of the things that I observed, kids love me. Like, that's one of the things I've noticed too. That's why I call them apex humans, because they all fucking love me. But there are kids that are like, no, I don't trust this guy. I don't like him. It's like rare. It's super rare. It's like 1 out of 100. When I see that and I'm with a parent and they say, oh, be nice, I say, the child is right. There's something about my energy that they don't like, and they're okay. And I've had people like, go hug Merlin, guys. And that's my real name. I'm Merlin. And the kids will come and they'll be like, no. And I'm like, no. That child is right. I say, you're absolutely right. Thank you. Thank you for expressing your boundary. We need to affirm children when they are like, hell, they may not like the smell of my cologne. They may be allergic to it. Maybe they don't like the color of my skin. Guess what? They're not a racist. Fuck, I don't care. They don't like chocolate. It's good. You know what you want. I respect that. I want you to grow up and be that way in the world. I don't want gummy worm gobblers in the future. Be what you are, child. All right. So I've had him, on rare occasions where the people are like, oh, we like Merlin so much. Oh, he's so amazing. And they hug me and everything. The parents hug me. The older siblings hug me. And the littlest one is just like, yeah, I kind of like you, but I'm going to stay here. They make eye contact with me. They're sweet, but they don't come up and just grab me and hug me. And I'm okay with that. Most kids love me. Babies love me too. So, but we need to allow children to trust their intuition. And when we do poor mate selection, we kind of cut that off and we cause them to become gummy worm gospel gobblers. We're going to stop here just for my own sake, because I want to respect my time and go do things that I need to do. And I'll pick up here and it'll be a part 8. Shucks. Thank you guys so much for the love, all the love, guys. It's been awesome. And thank you for all the comments. Look, I know I reframed it as gummy worm gospel gobbling. I'm gonna stick to that. For me, it's gummy worm gospel gobbling. If you're talking about a Sky Phantom Jesus, I have nothing to do with that. I reject him outright. I'm with Anton LaVey. Let's throw that nigga in the trash. Fucking trash him. I don't have to, though. Time is just going to do that. So time and reality is just going to get rid of that kind of a Jesus. And we're going to move into a world that works. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being Apex Humans. Thank you for being wonderful, amazing people. It's time for me to hit the road. Stay Apex. Oh, let me read a quick comment or two. Okay. Blessed are the feet path for those who carry the good message. Thank you. All right. I'm learning how to speak Ebonics. Ha ha ha. I love it. All right. Do you eat cheese? From sometimes. Peace and wisdom. Thank you so much, Zaya. I really appreciate you. Much love to you. All of you who are Apex Humans are out there. All of you shared the love. All of you shared your thoughts. Get out there. And those of you who do understand this message and the alliance for you, continue being Apex. Thank you so much for being here. Stay Apex.